Welcome to Seattle College's international programs and our show Conversations With, where we talk to people that help you understand how you too can be an international student in the United States and why Seattle Colleges should be your first choice. We'll talk to students and staff and agents and government folks, all kinds of people about what you can expect when you're getting ready to apply or travel here, what you'll experience while you're with us, and how it can all lead to an amazing life. Don't forget to check out the Seattle College's International Programs website at intl.seattlecolleges.edu, where you can find a treasure trove of information about the school, the programs here, and best of all, fill out and submit your application. Again, that's intl.seattlecolleges.edu. Hey everybody, it's Evan Franulovich here. Conversations With. We're back again at South Seattle College. Woo! We got you guys to consider South as a place to come to school. We have one of their students and an international ambassador.
And a front desk assistant.
So much. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, Jessie?
Hi. I'm Jessie. I'm from Myanmar, and I'm majoring in computer science. And here I am in conversation with
Evan. So why Seattle for computer science?
It's a funny story, actually.
Oh, yeah?
I wasn't planning to come to Seattle at all. I was planning for UK to continue my electrical engineering bachelor.
Okay.
But then I tried to take a gap year.
And
then I contacted my friends here.
Mm-hmm.
He goes to South.
Oh.
He went to South, so he was like, why not come to South?
Okay.
And so I was like, okay, yeah, sure. And here I am.
Here you are. So that means you started your bachelor's degree in Myanmar.
No, actually, I started in Singapore. It's
you
like
started
a
in
transfer
Singapore.
contract, too.
So did you get any credits awarded to you?
Yes.
Like, did some of those credits transfer?
I do have those credits, but I didn't plan to because I did not know that was possible. But until like later, I found out that it was transferable. So as a front desk, I tried to pass on that knowledge to other students if they have come. So definitely,
Cool.
if you're here with another bachelor's, you can transfer your credits. So please always let your advisor know that you have credits to transfer.
You can, I know, upload your transcripts when you're applying.
Yep, definitely.
But, if you're still going to school, you may be like, I'm going to have others. Don't worry about that. Just upload what you have, get the rest later, and then they can evaluate them. They'll need, for the purposes of evaluating it when you apply, they don't need official transcripts, but I think they do need them later.
They do. Yeah.
So let's go back to when you were first a little kid in Myanmar, just kind of cruising around. You were dreaming about going to school in another country? You talked about UK?
When I was, I think, around 7 years old, I actually moved to Singapore to study. So I started as a primary 1 student in Singapore. And I spent 4 years studying there.
Really?
Yeah.
Was your dad a diplomat or was he
No, actually, we were there for a visit. And then we were like, why not try to apply for school here for me?
And you stayed
my
for 4
parents
years.
were like, yeah, sure, why not? And then, bam, we got it.
So did your parents go back to Myanmar?
No, my mother was here. My mother was in Singapore with me.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Because you said you were 7?
Yeah, I was 7. Yeah.
That's really young to be thinking in that way. And then it was a good experience.
It was really a good experience. I grew up in a multicultural environment. Got to learn more stuff about the world.
Were you in an international school or were you in a Singapore school?
It was a public school.
It was a
Singaporean public school, but they were taught in English.
Oh, okay.
The first language is mostly spoken in English,
right.
And then Chinese.
Oh, and then Chinese. Do you speak Chinese as well?
Yes, I do speak a little Chinese.
我们可以练习呀。
可以的。
好极了。So that's really cool. So you're in Singapore, but you were there only 4 years. What did
4
you do?
years.
So that only brings us up to about 11. Then what'd you do?
And then after that, sadly my grandparent passed away.
Oh, yeah.
And then we planned to like come back to Myanmar and then continue my education as an international student in Myanmar.
Oh, okay.
So I went to an international school.
Cool.
In Myanmar.
So if you're at an international school, they probably talk about you going outside of the country for education a lot.
So yeah.
And you initially thought UK, ended up going to Singapore for university, but then came to the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
Had you met any Americans when you were in Myanmar?
Yes, I have. I think probably since I study in an international school, some of my friends are Americans.
Oh, gotcha.
And then other international schools, since we have tournaments between us, I've met a few Americans.
Huh, that's really cool. Because for so many years it's been kind of like people don't normally travel to that part of the world, so I would just assume you wouldn't see too many tourists.
I see a lot of them. I see mostly Indians, Australians, and
cool.
some Switzerland's, especially that. I had an Australian teacher in high school.
Oh, you did?
So yeah.
Well, I had a colleague who was from the UK, and she taught in Myanmar for quite a while, loved it. Then she moved to China to teach, but she would go back for vacations because that's what she liked.
It is a lovely country. Myanmar is a lovely country, I have to tell you, yeah.
Check it out. Go. It's really nice.
It is.
What's the best time of year to go, though? Because it's got to be hot.
Oh, not during this time. Not during June.
Not during Solar New Year.
Nope. I mean, Solar New Year, definitely, because you have to check out our water festival.
Oh, okay.
It's called Dinjan,
Uh-huh.
and it's just where we just closed out for the entire week.
Oh, the whole week?
The whole week, like for
cool.
5 days,
Mm-hmm.
just celebrating. Well, we used to have like a stage with water pipes, and then people just getting like crazy, and it's always fun during Dinjan.
Wow, well, there you go. And it's always in January, February, March?
This month, actually, April.
Oh, April. Okay, so April's dry season.
Well, that's where we get wet.
Oh,
So
now it starts to rain.
Yeah.
And how long will that last?
No, actually, I think monsoon is around June. April is where it's mostly sunny, and then that's how we, like, the water festival, it's how we stay hydrated.
Gotcha. Huh. I remember I went to Vietnam, or I went to Cambodia for, I think it was February, and it was pretty dry and hot at that time.
Yeah.
And they were saying in a month or two that it would start probably raining,
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
or get really hot anyway.
Yeah, it's mostly like cooler around the winter time, so it's mostly November, December, and January. Around then, that's the perfect weather to visit,
Right.
especially Bagan. Bagan in Myanmar is just a very agricultural landside.
Cool. Well, let's talk about getting here. So you were in Singapore. You decided you'd go ahead and come to the States. You applied to Seattle colleges from Singapore.
No, Myanmar. I was still in Myanmar.
Oh, you went home then?
Yeah.
Ah, gotcha. How long did it take for you to hear back on your application?
It didn't take a while. It just took, for me, it took a week, actually.
It's pretty fast.
Yeah, it was a pretty fast process. I was surprised, too. I applied for the winter quarter, 2023.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when you filled out your application, we don't talk about the application very often, but I'd like to take a second because I've received some emails from people that kind of get stuck or they get confused. What was the application process for you, like the different parts of it? Which was the most difficult part of the application, and what would you advise people to think about when they're doing their application?
For the application, I had like a agency.
Oh, you did?
Try to help me out with that application.
Gotcha.
Filling out stuff. So they just asked me like where the information that they needed to fill out the information. I just provided it, mostly like my parents' names, who's going to be sponsoring it.
Sure.
Which major are you trying to study? And then stuff
they
like that.
Submit it for you.
Yeah, they submit it for you.
So that's another way to go. We don't talk about that too often, but you can use an agent. do agents in Myanmar, do they usually charge for that service, or is that kind of an add-on?
I know Crown Education in Myanmar does not charge for me. It just charged for the application fees. That was $50, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's it.
Okay. And then once you got your acceptance letter and your I-20, you had to make it a visa appointment. Now, was that in Myanmar, or did you have to go somewhere else?
Back then, I was able to get an appointment in Myanmar Embassy.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, in the U.S. Embassy at Myanmar.
And long did that take to get the appointment?
It was surprisingly fast. I emailed them on Monday night. And then I heard back from them on Wednesday saying that next week we have an appointment. So I'm like,
wow, that
was pretty fast. I was not expecting it too. So I think some system might have changed. Now it's a little more of an online slot picking
But
system.
if a student from Myanmar out there is listening, they can still go to a U.S. embassy in country, or do they have to leave the country?
They will have to leave right now because the embassies now kind of closed due to political.
Do you know where people usually go?
They mostly go to Thailand and Vietnam.
That makes sense. Right. Okay, so going to Bangkok and going to the embassy there, that makes sense. What was the experience like? Did they take a lot of time when they interviewed you?
No, they didn't. They asked pretty much straightforward questions. They were like, where are you heading? Seattle. What are you going to be studying? Of course, I need to know my major, computer science, and then they will mostly ask you, how long will you be studying it? And after that studying period, what are you going to do? So what I told them was, after college, I plan to transfer to a 2-year university as a junior level.
Oh, sure,
Yeah. And then they continued that question. After that, what you going to do?
Right.
So I told them, well, I might either continue my studies as a for the master's, or I might just go back to Myanmar. Because that's the key right there. You have to provide that you will be coming back to your country.
Coming back to your country. Yeah. If you get a degree in computer science, are there lots of opportunities in computer science?
I feel like as a computer science, it's a diverse role. You can be a front-end developer, you can be a back-end developer, you can also work as a network, it's like much more branches. If you just study computer engineering, it's just mostly just development industry. So
and you can do that work from virtually anywhere, right?
Exactly.
Coffee shop in Rangoon or that's really cool. In what kind of software applications do you want to be a part of? Are you a gamer?
I am a gamer, so I'm mostly looking to gaming industries. So like software development for game development,
right? Or
a back-end developer for a startup company.
So I know there are a few gaming companies here in Seattle. Have you talked to any of them about maybe doing OPT?
I've reached out to a few.
Yeah?
But I haven't gotten a response yet, so I'm still waiting on that. But I'm also looking towards to Amazon and Microsoft too. So
Sure. But I know like Nintendo America.
Yeah,
I
heard that.
PopCap Games is in.
PopCap too. I heard that Nintendo news, so I just straight up went to my computer just
check it out.
So definitely.
Do you know where that building is? Isn't it on the east side of the lake, maybe?
I think it's around there too. I'm not quite sure yet.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So if you're a student out there interested in computer science, a lot of great opportunities for software. So after you do your first 2 years, you can do what's called OPT.
Yep.
And spend a year working.
And that's where you'll gain your experience in that industry, or you could just directly transfer to your university as a junior level.
Yeah, you can just go on. And some people do that. But if you want to take a year and go work, and they pay you.
Yeah, exactly. So why not?
Why not? Yeah. I know momentum is kind of a thing. So after you're done at Seattle colleges, where would you like to transfer to?
Ooh, I have a lot of schools that I've been
applying
on. I'm thinking of UW Seattle.
Oh yeah.
Seattle U. And then San Francisco State. Gators.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. So
Have you been to San Francisco yet?
I've not. I've not traveled
Such
out
a great city.
Washington at all since I got here.
Oh wow! You should. You know, you said you don't have a car.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you know, Amtrak, you can travel on Amtrak. You should go down to like Portland, Oregon, because that's really a fast ride.
It is. I heard.
But you could take it all the way to LA.
LA,
It takes
yeah.
a couple days, but yeah, it's a good trip.
I'm planning to, so I'm planning to like try to save up during the summers.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially that.
Well, you're a student worker. Let's talk about that. I get asked a lot when I'm on the road about working on campus. How easy was it for you to find work after you started?
Actually, I started pretty like 1 month in since
you
I got
here.
here. So it was kind of a difficult process. I didn't know where to look.
Right.
So the first instinct that I got was go around the campus, try to go into office and see if they're hiring. So definitely like when you're here, if you're looking for a job, just go in like to every department saying like if they're hiring, we're international students, and we would like to find an on-campus job.
Right.
So yeah, that's how I found it.
So what was your first job?
My first job was front desk assistant.
It was front desk assistant.
Yeah.
And how many applications did you have to put in before you got a job?
I had to prepare a resume and a cover letter.
Okay.
So.
And did you apply to more than one job or just the one?
Just this one.
And you got it?
And then I got it, luckily. And then
cool.
once I was like a month later working as a front desk, my front desk manager, Andrea, shout out to Andrea, she's the best boss.
Andrea!
Woo! But yeah, she told me if I would like to be an ambassador.
Right.
At first I wasn't expecting
What's an ambassador?
I wasn't really like trying to be an ambassador. So I was like, why not? Give it a shot. And then I'm here.
Do you like it?
I love it. I love my colleagues.
So maybe, because I don't know that I've talked about it in any of my episodes, what does an international ambassador do exactly?
Well, as an international ambassador, we're the faces of the schools, right?
Right.
So we're trying to be making our students more comfortable in our space, try to make events to help them socialize.
Right.
And then try to get to know American culture. Like the event that we're going to be having soon for the Mariners Night, the Mariners College Night. Yep.
Yeah, this is the second year in a row that I know that they've done this event. You want to explain to everybody what it is?
For Mariners College Night, it's a baseball game night for college students.
Yeah.
So I think for this time, it's Mariners versus the Oakland Athletics.
Nuh-uh.
It is.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I'm going. I want to go.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I love baseball
Last
since
year
I got
missed
here.
it. Oh, yeah? How many games have you been to?
I've been to 3 games.
Ah,
I
cool.
went to the Astros and then the Angels.
Nice.
So,
Have you played baseball?
I played softball when I was in high school.
Okay.
So it's
Cool.
kind of similar.
It's pretty similar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it underhand throwing?
It's just overhand.
It is? Okay.
It is
Wow.
overhand.
And that was in Singapore?
No.
Oh, it was in Myanmar.
In Myanmar International School.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, does Myanmar have a national baseball team?
We do not, sadly.
We
We do have a soccer team.
Yes.
We do have a soccer team. Soccer is very popular.
Right. What do you think their chances of getting to the World Cup are this next?
If they work just a little harder, they might be able to get in.
Maybe they'll get there. Have they ever been? I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure.
They were definitely not at the last World Cup. But you guys should, out there listening, if you're World Cup fans or you just like international competition, we're going to be one of the host cities in the United States, which is kind of cool.
That's cool.
I mean, I don't know how expensive the tickets are going to be. But
Yeah.
maybe one game. Maybe they'll give us a deal as students.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a student.
Maybe we might get
Tag
strike a
along.
deal.
Maybe we
right?
strike a deal. That's right. You get to work on that.
Yeah.
As an international ambassador.
Yeah.
Well, as an international ambassador, you guys take ideas from the students for events?
Yes, I often ask students, like
What do you want to do?
my friends, like what kind of events are you expecting us to do, and what kind of events do you want us to do?
Right.
So yeah, that's how I get ideas, and then students mostly show up. Some students, are more of a homebody person, so they'll just stay at home. So we're also trying to come up with virtual games, virtual events
That's cool.
Probably in the future. So,
Yeah, I know they did that during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm a student at North, for example, and you're at South, how do I hear about the activities that are going on?
Well, we mostly post during our social media. It's the international ambassador.
And so people, whether you're a student yet or not, if you are a student, definitely go to this address and make sure you're following us on Instagram, Facebook. Yep. What's the address?
INTL ambassadors.
Okay. Yeah, go to there and find it and follow along.
Follow along for sure. Yeah, we always be posting our events to help, our international students.
Right.
Not feel alone, be comfortable, get to know America while you're here.
Right, yeah.
Of course, right? Yeah.
I'm always surprised, like sometimes I'll meet students that have been here maybe 6 to 9 months and they'll be like, yeah, I haven't really met anybody. And I'm like, how is that possible?
You got to make friends when you get here. You got to make friends.
Go to some events. Yeah. Today there was a great event for the Solar New Year, put on by, how do you pronounce it? Anastasi? Anapisi. And it was great. There was food. There was a traditional fashion show. They had a game.
Yeah.
It was cool.
It was really cool.
And it was a good turnout, too. I was pretty impressed.
Turnout, too. I invited my friends from North and Central to join us over here.
Right.
So that was really cool, too.
Yeah, I mean, not all schools have this, but we have 3 campuses, 1 school, 3 campuses. So if you're at South, you can go to events at North or Central and vice versa.
Yeah, exactly.
So don't worry about
missing out or overstepping. Right. Yeah, definitely join us if you're here.
And the schools really aren't too far apart. Like, we have students that work at Central but go to school at North or vice versa. I met a guy who, I think he was living in the dorms but comes to South. So cool. Any of those combinations are possible.
Oh, yeah, definitely. If you like, I'm a travel type of person. I like to ride on the bus, just try to enjoy the view. So, yeah, I'm that. I love traveling, so.
A lot of people knock the bus, but I like the bus.
Yeah, why not?
It's no big deal.
It's just a light road,
And as a student, don't you get an Orca card?
We get an Orca card as a discount.
Ah.
So the card will have a value of $250.
Oh,
but we get it for only $125.
Oh, there you go.
It's half the price.
That's a really great deal. And you get that right over at the
registration office. Right.
Yeah, so one of the benefits is discounted public transportation, and public transportation in Seattle is really good for America.
For America.
Many cities aren't quite as good as Seattle. But yeah, we have trains, we have subways, we've got ferries, water taxis, we got it all. It's really cool. You really don't need a car.
Not when traveling within Seattle, no.
Yeah,
but if you want to travel to states, like go to Portland, Oregon, you might need a car.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But like even if you want to go skiing, I understand there's a bus that leaves from downtown that'll take you right up to the pass. Yep. I think Johan was telling me about it.
Cool.
And there's also in the summer a bus that takes you up to the trailheads. So it'll take you up to the pass and dump you off so you can just go hiking.
That's cool. Cool. I did not know that. Okay, I got to keep in mind.
Learn something
it's
new
summertime,
every
so it's
day.
hiking time.
Yeah, it is getting close to summertime. The weather is getting nicer. Want to go outside and play.
Yep, definitely.
Oh, do you hear that? That means it's trivia time.
Bravo!
All right, we're going to ask you 5 trivia questions. If you get them all right, you're on the Wall of Fame. And if not, we shame you to no end. And
damn.
You'll just be crying yourself to sleep tonight in your big pillow.
I won't be able to sleep. No.
All right, question number 1 involves your home country. Myanmar was also known by what name?
Burma.
Burma!
Woo!
Cool. Question 2. During the Second World War, there was a road that went from Myanmar over into China. What was the name of that road?
Oh my God, you're testing me on my histories. No!
It's very famous, very difficult, dangerous. Supplied the Allies.
No, I do not know. I know it at the time.
Called the Burma Road.
No, the irony in that. No.
Too easy. But, yeah, check that out. It's a good one. There's some good movies about that. All right, question number 3. Now, you're at South, and you're close to one of the great beaches in Seattle. Can you name one of the beaches close to the campus?
Alki Beach.
Alki Beach.
There
nice.
We go.
Check it out.
I love walking there.
Yeah?
I love it.
Take your dog?
Yep, exactly.
Cool. All right, very good. All right, question number 4. What is the mascot for South Seattle College?
Otter.
The Otters. That was pretty easy for you.
It was.
But I have to ask because a lot of people don't know. So, yeah. And bonus question, what's the Otter's name?
Olivia.
Olivia the Otter.
Woo!
Very good. And last but not least, what was the last movie that you saw?
Oh, I think I watched the Gorilla X Kong, the new Empire.
You did?
Yeah, I did. I was at
And?
the South Center. I loved it.
Really?
I loved it.
I was just like, really? Another movie with a big monkey? I don't know if I
And
wanna
then
go
they're
see
like
this.
fighting together.
They're
So I'm like,
fighting together.
let's go.
But isn't it just a lot of CGI?
I have to say, the CGI is getting better and better. I really love it.
All right, cool.
Yeah, and
I
then
would-
there's like a game skin on that.
Oh, there is?
movies, Yeah.
Oh, cool.
On Call of Duty, so I was like geeking out.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I just went and saw Civil War last night.
Uh-huh. How was it?
It was very intense. Definitely don't recommend it for children, but if you're adult listener, yeah, definitely check it out. It's pretty crazy. Well, very good. Last question I always ask all the students, as you probably know, is what advice would you give? So there may be students back in Myanmar right now that are dreaming or thinking about going overseas, whether it's the U.S. or somewhere else. What kind of advice would you give them for preparing to go, or once they get there? What would be your wisdom?
Well, for preparing to come to Seattle or the States, always just like prepare your English language test, definitely, because that's where you will be affected.
Right.
And mostly you'll just be starting from an SCIE program or language program.
Right.
So
It's good advice, actually.
So if you have a very good level, a level
Saves you
that's
time and
meeting,
money.
yeah, saves you time and money, and you'll just jump straight into college level classes.
Right. Don't feel too sad if you're not quite at college ready. We have you do a quarter or two or whatever is necessary.
And their SCIE program is amazing too.
Right. Yeah, it is really good. Do you know where it's housed?
It's housed at Central.
It's housed at Central. So if you want to be a student at South and you need to do intensive English, you'll need to be at Central first, and then you can switch over to South once you're college ready. Very good. In this season 2, I've been asking people if they want to say some words in their own language. You're our second guest from Myanmar, so maybe if people listen to that, they'll have already heard it. But maybe you have a slightly different dialect, or maybe I don't know, maybe do something a little different. But whatever you want to say, just 10, 20 seconds.
All right. အကောလုံးဒီ Seattle College ကိုလာဖို့အတွက်ကိုIELTS တို့ Duolingo တို့ရအောင်ဖြေပါမှာတို့ကိုတို့ဒီအင်္ဂလိပ်စာကိုကောင်းကောင်းရပြီဆိုရင်ဒီ college level ကိုပေါ့ကောင်းကောင်းဝင်ပြီးတော့ပတ်စံလဲတက်တာတယ်အချိန်လဲတက်တာတယ်ပေါ့เนาะအဲ့ဒါကိုပြောချင်ပါတယ်ရအောင်လာကျင်တယ်ဆိုရင်လာခဲ့ပါကျွန်တော်တို့ဒီ IP မှာလဲကူညီမဲ့လူတွေအများကြီးရှိပါတယ်အကောင်လုံးစူးစမ်းပါ
Cool. I love it. Sounds awesome. But I think I asked, like, you cannot understand someone from, say, Thailand or Malaysia. There's not any similarity?
No, but for Malaysia, as I grew up in Singapore, I learned a little bit of Malay. So
Oh, okay.
probably a little bit, but
Cool.
not that much. But for Thailand, of course, I can. Yeah.
Just not?
Not a single word.
Wow, interesting. That's just so wild. What about Laos?
Nope.
Laotian? No, very different.
No, very different.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
It's just all in the same neighborhood,
It's just
so
in
you
the same
figure.
neighborhood, and then it's kind of weird because I went to the solar event just now, and then there are syllables like Laos, Cambodia, and Thailand. Their alphabets are very similar to each other,
Right.
except for us.
Yours is way different.
Way different.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, that's great. Well, thanks for being on the show. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having
It's been
me.
a busy day today.
It is.
Awesome.
I'm just after this. I'm getting ready for a nap.
Yeah, me too. It's been a long day.
It is.
Well, great. Well, thanks so much. Have a great day. We'll see you all next time. Bye-bye. Conversations With is painstakingly crafted for you by the Seattle College's International Programs Department and supported by the lovely folks here on our campus. This show is produced and edited by me, Evan Franulovich. We welcome your emails and questions about coming to Seattle Colleges. Please reach out to us via our website, or just give us a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts, as this helps others discover the show. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, or YouTube at Seattle Colleges INTL. That's Seattle Colleges INTL. And be sure to check out all of the shows here on Conversations With. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.